Hello Aqua friends, welcome to my channel. We're going to get right into things here. I have the supply list up on the board here for you. And starting this beautiful bokeh lit forest with a wet on wet background. I'm wetting my paper really well with a flat brush. Now I'm going to pick up a large brush to drop in all my colors, starting off with the lightest, and we always work light to dark. I have cadmium yellow light and green gold, one of my favorite colors. And I'm just keeping an eye on my reference photo and looking at where I'm needing to put the light colors and then the brighter colors. This is sap green that I'm working with now, and I'm putting in my mid colors. And as you can see, I'm just making random strokes. This is done very, very loosely. The darkest color that I'm using is called shadow green. And if we look at our reference photo, you can see where I need to add more of the darks, and a lot of them are on that left-hand side. I wanted a couple of pops of brighter green, and so I'm using hooker's green for a few spots here and there. And I'm also keeping in mind that there's going to be that foreground branch as well. We want to work fairly quickly with getting all our colors in, because while the paper is wet is when we need to lift our paint for the bokeh background. I am just using a little round sponge stamper, and you can get these anywhere they sell craft supplies. I got mine at Michael's. Because our paper is still wet, and as I'm lifting up these round shapes, the paint is seeping back in, and you can see that they're very light. So that is okay, because we can have a lot of different stages of these round circle shapes. Some that are very fuzzy and not very sharp. And as the paper dries, you can see my circles are going to be a lot more sharper in definition. So if there's an area where I want to pull up more paint, I'm just going to go back over that same spot. So I'm working around the paper. I'm keeping my eye on the reference photo and seeing where most of these lights are. And while our paper's wet is when we want to get them all in. Now at the very end, my paper is dry enough where I could add a little bit other texture of some highlights with flicking water onto the paper. This is going to give us a little bit of a different look. As you can tell, there's these like white spots, dust particles, almost looks like highlighted dust particles. So that's why I flicked some water onto the paper. I thought that might represent that as well, getting into different textures. So once you're happy with the amount of bokeh lights that you have, you're going to let your whole paper dry. Now, to get the lightest parts of these particles, I am going to splatter my paper with some white gouache. I'm actually practicing the splatter off camera on a scrap piece of paper to see if the water droplets are, I don't want them too big. I don't want big glops of paint falling on there and wrecking all our hard work of getting the background that we have so far. So give a little splatter off onto a scrap piece of paper and make sure it's what you want. Fan brushes work great for this because the paint is distributed amongst these bristles that are already fanned out. So you're going to get some nicely spaced splatters, if that makes any sense. And you do have some control of where those splatters go. Once my splatters are dry, I'm going to come in and do that foreground branch. So I'm trying to hold my brush at the very top so that it forces me to be very loose. I'm using my sap green mixed with my shadow green, and I'm just loosely putting in the top right hand corner of the foliage where it's kind of in the shadow, as you can see from the reference photo. And I'm just putting in some leaf shapes here. As the leaf branches descend on the paper, they kind of get lighter and they get into that little bit of the stream of light, kind of having this backlit effect. I am going to lighten up my leaves as I descend down on the paper, as you can see. And it's fun, you're just using the shape of your round brush to make the leaf shapes. It's very relaxing, very no stress. So my tip is down and I am lightly touching the paper and pushing down on the belly of your brush to get the fat end of the leaf. I'm going to vary the sizes as well. So to make these leaves, as you can see, I keep going back into the paint. You do need a nicely fully loaded brush to get a good effect. I'm also leaning my arm on my other hand so that I don't smear the leaves that I just made, because I'm sort of skipping around looking at the reference photo and seeing, okay, where else do I need to add some of these leaves? I thought this was so cute. It's such an easy project and it turned out so pretty. So with my script liner brush, I'm coming in with Sepia. I love this color. I use it a lot to mix with other colors too to get darker tones, and it's a great shadow color. But perfect here for the branches. So it's like you're connecting the dots now, connecting all your leaves to some of these branches. And I'm not letting this dry in between. If some of the brown gets on to the wet green and it bleeds together, it's actually really pretty. Putting in a couple more leaves with that other branch that's hanging down, like in the reference photo. Sign your painting and you're done. And just like that, you created this beautiful bokeh inspired forest. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. And if you got value out of this video and you think you're going to give it a try, please subscribe, hit that like button. I much appreciate it.